Okay, I think it's gonna go live on Facebook soon. It's gonna be a bit late as usual, though. All right, so can you hear me fine? People not on Facebook, but people on Zoom. Mr. Ali
Yes,
and
yes.
NF, can you hear me fine?
Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you very
absolutely.
much, and thank you very much for being with me tonight. It's always very good to see you guys. Um, Today is 1 minute grammar. I know it gets a bit confusing when I have to do, when you have to come to 1 minute grammar, 1 minute idioms, 1 minute collocations. Today is Sunday, I mean Saturday, so it's 1 minute grammar. If you see the title of today's presentation, it's 1 minute grammar. It's number 66, of course. It's for the advanced level. So don't blame yourself if you don't know everything that I'm talking about, because it's meant to be for the advanced level. That's not to say that people at the intermediate and beginner level cannot attend, but they might not know 100% of it. Hello, Dodi. All right. The link. All right. The link. The Zoom link. Okay. I'll work on that, Judy. I'll try my best. Now, today, as you notice from the title, it's infinitive for purpose. All right, so we're using the infinitive to express purpose, but that's only the first question. In order not to make the title of the video so long, I tend to put the picture that explains, the first question. If you look at the picture and you look at the question when it pops on the screen, pops up on the screen, then you will see the relationship between the two. And the title as well is for the first question only. But the second question, I need to tell you what we're going to talk about in the second question as well. We're going to talk about using the future or expressing the future using going to and the present progressive. So two things we'll talk about tonight. We will talk about what you see on the screen now, using infinitives to express purpose and expressing the future using going to and the present progressive. The difference is, or one of the differences between the two. Okay, so let's get going. Let's move to the next one. Here's a question. Here's the first question. As you can see, infinitives for purpose. And the question is, question number one, which sentence ending or endings is or are normal? I moved house, and then you have A, B, C, D, E. So you must read it this way. I moved house to be nearer to my office. I moved house in order to be nearer to my office. I moved house so as to be nearer to my office. I moved house not to be too far from my office. I moved house so as not to be too far from my office. So which of the sentences are normal? One of them is not normal. Okay, I've just given you a clue. Only one sentence is no, and all the other sentences are normal. Okay, so think about it, take your time, and then I'm ready to get your answers. Right, so I'll give you a minute. Doji, I will put the link now. Yes, sure. So let me see what the link is. It should be here. Where is the link? Where is the link? Try to look for it. There you go. Copy. And now, for those on Facebook who want to join us now, in the comments, you will find the link and the passcode and the meeting passcode and the meeting ID and everything. Okay, so all, what do you mean by all? Here's the link, all. So, okay, somebody said E is the odd one out. E is the wrong one. No, not exactly. Try again. Try again. I know it sounds, E sounds a bit too complicated, but it's not the wrong one. Okay, try again. D. Ooh, Mr. Ali is always ace in them all. Exactly, Mr. Ali from Zoom. D is the odd one out. It's the one that is not normal. Okay, can you tell us, Mr. Ali? You can unmute yourself and tell us why it's the odd one out, if you wish. If you wish, I'll be explaining it anyway. You can tell us if you want.
Okay. I think we are missing a verb now, the main verb for the purpose. We need a connector like to in order to so as to or so as not to. We need the
Exactly,
linking word.
exactly.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Now, if you allow me, let me explain it to people on Facebook and on Zoom and people who will watch the video later in more detail so that they get what you've just said now. But you asked a very good job, very good job. Okay, so let's analyze everything step by step. Here we have infinitive. So what does the infinitive mean? Infinitive, if we go to the screen before this one, you will notice that this is a sentence that has the infinitive of purpose, infinitive of purpose. So I moved house, this is okay. Now to be is the infinitive, right? Now to be near to my office. Now to be near to my office, this phrase here explains the purpose for moving. So that's why we call it the infinitive of purpose, because the infinitive phrase, this phrase here, and this infinitive tells us the reason for moving. That's why we call it the infinitive phrase. So we'll go back to the question now. So here we have infinitive for purpose. Now, infinitive of purpose, we can use it just like you have seen now. I moved house to be nearer to my office, just like that. Or, as Mr. Ali said, we can use it with the words in order to or so as to, right? So we can say this same sentence. A is correct. We can say, I moved house to be nearer to my office. I moved house in order to be nearer to my office. Or we can say, I moved house so as to be nearer to my office. So all of them are correct. Okay, so I'll say that again. When we're talking about the infinitive of purpose, we're talking about the infinitive of purpose without anything, or we're talking about the infinitive of purpose with the words in order to, like here, in order to be nearer to my office, or so as to be nearer to my office. So sentences A, B, and C are correct. Now the problem is when we want to use that infinitive of purpose in negative. Now, if we want to use the infinitive of purpose in a negative sentence, as Mr. Ali said, we cannot just use the infinitive. We must use, I shouldn't say must use, but we normally use the words in order and so as to. So if you look at D here, what's the problem here? Or let's look at E first and then we go back to D. Now, I moved house so as not to. So it's absolutely fine to use not here because you use the words so as. You can also use in order to, or in this case, in order not to. So you can put it this way. I moved house in order not to be far from my office. Right. But what's the problem with D? The problem is we use the negative, but before the negative, we never used in order or so as. And we cannot do that. So hopefully that was clear. I'll repeat it again towards the end of the session in summarizing everything. But these are the correct answers in green now. So A, B, C, and E are correct. D, no, it's not correct because before this, before the word not, we need something like this. So as not to be late, not to be far, or in order not to be far. But you cannot just say not to be far. I moved house not to be far to command. That's not normal. It's not normal English. All right. So that's it. Hopefully it was clear. And as I said, this is for the advanced level, like Mr. Ali's level. So if you don't get it completely, that's absolutely fine. We'll be saying it again towards the end of the session. Now, let's move on to question number 2, but let me double check Facebook real quick to see if you have any questions. Any questions, if I'm saying it right in French. Right. So D, not exactly. Okay, these are the correct ones. Yes, A, B, C, and E are the correct ones. Yes, B, C are the correct ones. Okay, thanks people on Facebook. Usually I get to see these people, Iman and hey, Rafi, good to see you. And William Scott, of course. William is always here. Right, so next question, not to keep you waiting for so long. And let me welcome everybody on Zoom now. Dua, Iman, Aziz, and Galaxy Note 3 and NF. Thank you very much for coming. And let me welcome myself as well, because I'm there on the list. Right, you can. Now, here's the second question. Using expressing the future, using, sorry for that, my phone just went beeping. Now, using the future or expressing the future using the present progressive and going to, what is the difference between them? The difference, or one of the differences, we will get to understand from this question right here. Now, which question is more likely a response? A or B? So somebody said, Jake's just phoned in to say he's ill. So Jake is a teacher. Now the principal is saying, so who's going to teach his classes this afternoon? Or, so who's teaching his classes this afternoon? Okay, so which one is a likely response? You expect to see this one. So, wow, Dua. She said A. Okay. If you wish, you can unmute yourself and tell us why A is a likely response. If you wish. Dua.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Good afternoon or good night. خلاص, good night.
Yeah. Well, it depends, because some people are watching from the States, so it can be even good morning for them.
Okay.
Okay.
So using present progressive or continuous as a future tense, it's maybe an A or B. It's all true. Or
Okay.
all true.
Yes.
A and B might be correct.
Both of them.
Both of them.
But you said A is more likely.
More likely because he phoned and they said he's ill.
Okay. So what does that show?
This is the more grammatically, yani.
Yes, it's just because obviously you're a teacher, mashallah. So your gut feeling is telling you, no, A is correct. B, there's something wrong here. Yes, but that's fine. You're absolutely right. And thank you very much for your explanation. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Let me see. Possibly people on Facebook now have the chance. They have read the question. Manisa she's still saying D, you know, we moved. We're in the second question now. Okay. Right. So as she said, A is the correct answer. And let me tell you why. What she said is absolutely right, right? We can use the present, not the present. We can use the present progressive, and we can use going to as well to mean the same thing. We're talking about the future. Okay, yes, Mr. Ali, it is A. Now, for example, somebody can say, I'm washing my car this evening, or I'm going to wash my car this evening. That's fine. It's the same thing. However, there is a very small difference between them. Let me read from my book. There are some differences. For example, we prefer going to when we talk about intentions and decisions. And we prefer the present progressive when we talk about fixed arrangements. So let me read that part again. It's very, very important. And the examples right after will explain it very well. I'm trying to simplify the book. So if you go to the book, you will not find the exact same thing in your book. Okay, somebody wrote in the chat. Again, yes, sure. I will say that again. And the examples, don't worry, the examples were explained really clearly. Now, both present progressive and going to are similar as the example that I gave. I'm washing my car this evening. I'm going to wash my car this evening. It doesn't matter. But we prefer going to when we talk about intentions and decisions. Let me give you an example. If we say, let me finish it all. And we prefer, so let me say it again, going to for intentions and decisions, and for present progressive for fixed arrangements. So here are two examples. I am seeing Phil tonight. So what did we use here? We used the present progressive. I am seeing him tonight, right? So it's for the future. Why? Because here we're talking about the emphasis is on the arrangement. So I arranged, I phoned him and I told him to meet me in Starbucks in that mall. So the emphasis here, we're thinking about the arrangement. Okay, so I'm seeing Phil tonight. So that's the arrangement part of it. It's a fixed arrangement, a personal fixed arrangement. Now, take the second sentence. After he meets Phil, I'm really going to tell him what I think of him. Now, here we don't say, I am telling him. No, we say, I'm going to tell him what I think of him. Why did we say, I am going to tell him? Because the emphasis here is on the intention. Aha. So I'll say the two examples now. Things will become clearer. If we say, I'm seeing Phil tonight, that means I arranged to see him, right? I am going to tell him what I think of him. This is not an arrangement. I didn't arrange for anything to go and tell him what I think of him. No, this is my intention. This is my decision. So now let's go to our example here. Jake's just phoned in to say he is ill. Now, if we say, so who's teaching? Now, who's teaching? The emphasis will be on, yes, on arrangement, right? If we say who's teaching, we agreed that if we're talking about the progressive, it's about arrangement. So we didn't really arrange anything. Somebody wrote it. Yes, arrangement, exactly, Dua. So it's arrangement. So because he just phoned, we didn't arrange anything. So it's more likely that we are talking about a decision. So who's going to teach his classes this afternoon? Like, we need to make a decision now. Who's going to teach his classes? Not who's teaching his classes, because it's not really an arrangement. You see what I'm saying? Now, let me repeat both questions again. I don't want to make the video too long, but I think it's worth it if we talk about both questions again. Here or today, okay, let me see. Somebody's saying something in the chat. Okay, so Ali is saying we normally have verbs that indicate fixed arrangement. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so here, let's go back and see the questions that we have. When we talk about the infinitive, it in the positive sentences, or I should call them the affirmative sentences, it's okay to use the infinitive straight away. You can use in order to, so as to, that's fine. You can use any of them. But if you want to make a negative sentence, it's not normal to use the infinitive straight away. You have to use one of these two words. So as, not to, blah, 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 or in order to, blah, blah, blah. So the only difference here is negative. If you want to say not, you must say so as to, or so as not to, or in order not to. Okay, so that's clear, hopefully. Shall I move on? Just write in the chat, or you can just tell me to move on or say it again. I'm waiting for people on Zoom and Facebook, especially Zoom, because Zoom is more prompt. Facebook. Not many people are really, interacting because there's a delay. Okay, so people on Zoom said, yes, clear, you can move on. Thank you very much for the feedback. Now, here is the second question. The second question is, we're talking about the future, expressing the future using the present progressive and going to. Normally, it's okay to use both, but if you're using if you want to express an arrangement, it's like you have something in mind, you arrange for it and everything, then you use the present progressive. But if you want to talk about an intention, or you want to talk about an arrangement, a decision, then you use going to. Okay, so that's it. Let me see if you have any more questions. That'll be your questions are welcome. Right, so the video is already a bit too long for people to watch. All right, so no questions. All right, so don't forget, tomorrow I'll see you same time. We will talk about 1 minute idioms. We will discuss one very nice idiom right after I finish this session. I'll put the post with the link and the passcode and everything, and I'll put the idiom as well. Don't forget to pitch in and say, what do you think the idiom is? That's the game that we always play. I give you the idiom and then I see if you get it from the picture that I post. Guys, I thank you very, very much for coming, and I thank especially Mr. Ali because he's always here. Thank you very much. And don't forget, you can learn more about the grammar that we discussed in sections 289.2 and 214.2 in this wonderful book right here. Let me hold the book as usual. Practical English Usage, the 3rd edition. These are my accounts on social media. Thank you very much for coming, and I'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum. Bye. Thank you.